हरे कृष्णा। अतः प्रभु जी जब तक आते तब तक आप शुरू कर सकते हैं कुछ। हाँ, ये आ गए ज्वाइन।
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Hari Bol.
Okay. I'll start now. Okay, Hare Krishna. Today I'll be talking about the 7th verse in the Sri Shikshastakam, which says, O Govinda, feeling your separation, I'm considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. In this verse, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu describes a devotee's intense feeling of separation from the Lord. There are many tears streaming down their face so that they're unable to see anything. They feel as if Govinda has gone away from them. Mahaprabhu explains how, as a devotee progresses in their spiritual life, they develop a higher understanding of Krishna. They then see the Lord right before them, but they're unable to reach him, so they feel an intense sense of separation. The more a devotee advances, the more they find themselves wanting to be with Krishna. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives us advice on how to deal with this separation. He tells devotees, you're going to be lost in Krishna consciousness, and what will be your position? You are a drop and you will be thrown into the ocean of divine love. Now let us all chant one round together. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pasada Deshatayane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram Ram, Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to our Saturday program. राधे राधे सब लोगों को.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, राधे राधे.
Hare Krishna, Ratmatma Mata ji ki jai ho. Hari bol everybody, and I hope everybody is in the best of health and the best of Krishna consciousness. तो आपका स्वागत करते हैं सब लोगों को और भगवान से श्री कृष्ण से प्रार्थना करते हैं सब लोग स्वस्थ में हैं. ये कोविड टाइम पे हम लोग नरसिंह चतुर्थी में हम लोग यज्ञ करने वाले हैं सब लोगों के लिए, हेल्थ के लिए. तो आप इस यज्ञ में आप भाग लीजिए का. We like everyone to participate in that yagya. We're going to do that on a Saturday, most probably on a Saturday, and everybody is going to pray for their whole family, actually for the whole of everyone in India, right? So let me share the screen. So today we're going to talk about a very interesting topic. It's Braj Dham. So everybody, most of devotees have been to Vrindavan. Who's been to Vrindavan? You can unmute and let us know. जो कोई वृंदावन गए तो प्लीज अनम्यूट करके कह सकते हैं अपना एक्सपीरियंस वृंदावन का. हरे कृष्णा. Samira, you been to Vrindavan Dham? Hari bol.
Yes, Prabhuji.
What do you like about Vrindavan?
Everything.
So that's nice. I remember that when we were studying in Delhi University, we used to go to Vrindavan. For the students, they used to go to some hill stations for.
Radhe Radhe Prabhuji, sorry, we were in other Zoom invitation.
Okay, it's okay. So when we used to go to for the holidays, so all the students in the university, they will go to hill stations like in the south, or they will go in the north, or Kulu Manali and everything. But we will go to Vrindavan. So we'll spend all our time, all our holidays in Vrindavan. And my sister also was in their university, and she will arrange tours and take the students to Vrindavan, and they will spend time visiting the different temples and Vrindavan Dham. So Vrindavan is a very special place. It's always been like that for us, and especially the deities, Shri Radha Shyam Sundar ISKCON temple So let us see. Yeah. Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai. So Vrindavan is very special. We should try to see Vrindavan with different eyes. And you will go to Vrindavan, you will see now it's developed. My Vrindavan, when I was there, that's so many years back, 10 more than the last visit I've been like 10 years back almost. And but when I was in university, in Delhi University, that time it was very pristine, very beautiful. Vrindavan was still like a forest. Vrindavan means forest, right? Van jaise hote hain. Or it was very pristine, very special. You can still feel that, oh, Krishna is walking around in the Van. So what's special about Vrindavan is the Vindavan Parikrama that devotees organized every year. And we have thousands and thousands of devotees, हजारों लाखों भक्त परिक्रमा में भाग लेते हैं, जो हम लोग कहते हैं ब्रज 84 कोश यात्रा परिक्रमा जो कहते हैं. So actually the Braj area, it's in the North Indian state of Uttar Pradesh. It's like 85 miles from Delhi, and it covers around 40 miles of area. That includes city of Mathura, जहाँ पे Krishna Janam Bhumi हुई. There are 12 main forests, and along with that we have 125 secondary forests. But Vrindavan is often known as a spiritual center of Braja. तो कभी ऐसा भी होता है कि जो 12 वन जो होते हैं उस मिला करके वृंदावन कहते हैं, ये भी होते हैं. People also talk about that. The 12 forest is known as Vrindavan, but there's exclusively one forest as Vrindavan, as we will see. So Braja is Lord Krishna's eternal pastimes location, and it has a polydimensional nature because जो ब्रज हम जब देखते हैं भजभूमि जहाँ पे कृष्ण भगवान की लीलाएं हुई, eternal pastimes, नित्य लीला, और this place of Braja is both existing on this planet as Bhuma Vindavan, जो कहते हैं terrestrial Braja जो इस धरती पे है, और आध्यात्मिक संसार में भी, or the spiritual world में, they coexist. So we have these two things that we have to understand: the celestial Braja in the spiritual realm and the terrestrial Braja on the earth planet. And as I mentioned, all the devotees, all the Vaishnavas, every year they have hundreds and thousands of people going to discover these loving pastimes of Krishna, Radha and Krishna, the divine couple, different alag-alag kunj mein Bhagwan leelaएं करते थे. So the 84 Kosh Yatra, which is 168 miles around, or 252 kilometers. This 84 is like 84, we say Kosh in Hindi, it's a measurement. This Braj journey takes you around a Braj area, which includes the 12 forest, 24 gardens, 20 kunds, ponds, and village like Varasana, Nandagaon, Vrindavan, Mathura, Koshi, Radhakund, Govardhan, all these are there. If you get a chance to do Braj Parikrama, please do that. It's very good for our advancement in bhakti and devotional service. The Braj Parikrama, Mandal Parikrama, is a circumambulation of Vrindavan 12 forests. So these 12 forests are described. There's 5 forests where the presiding deity of those 5 forests is Lord Balaram, and the other 7 forests is where Srimati Radhika and Krishna perform their pastimes. तो जो 5 वन है जो पूर्व ईस्टर्न bank of Yamuna में है, it starts with Bhadravan, Badiravan, Billavan, Lohavan, and Mahavan. And these 5 forests mainly they decorate the Yamuna River, the eastern bank. And in this forest, Lord Balaram is the presiding deity. or the pastimes. And on the western bank, Paschim bhag mein, Yamuna ke paschim tat pe, we have Saman forest, and these Saman forest, they're namely Bahulavan, Kamyavan, Kadiravan, Kamudavan, Madhuvan, Talavan, and Vrindavan. So this is collectively, this is how these different forests are different pastimes, where the gopis and the gopas perform the pastimes with Krishna. So this accumulation of this forest is part of our devotional service, nine form of devotional service we call Pada Sevanam, where we're serving the lotus feet of Krishna. So that's why parikrama is considered, even if you go to the temple, you'll see you go around the deities. This is part of our is auspicious, is considered to be part of our devotional service, is considered as to be serving the lotus feet of Krishna. So this is like a map. You can see the different gaon, but there's even in the Braj Mandal, you will see there's all the dhams also, Kedarnath, Badrinath, Adibadig, Jatapura. This is Govardhan in the center here. You can see Govardhan, Chatikor, Baholavan, Mathura, Madhuvan, all these different. It's like a small map. I couldn't get a better one. I had a better one, but it was too blurry. So I got this one to show you guys. So even in our parampara, in our Vaishnav parampara, it's prescribed that we should really try to do this parikrama. And Prabhupada would always say that this Bhajmandal Parikrama is a time that we do the parikrama is in Kartik, where we go and we charge our bhakti. Yeah. And especially you can do, if you don't have much time, you can do Govardhan Parikrama, which is like 5 hours, or you can do Vindavan Parikrama also, which is shorter. These all the different types of parikramas are there for us to really advance in our practice of devotional service. So these are the very nice pictures. This is like Keshi Ghat. You will see the Madan Mohan temple there. You can see these different pictures from Vrindavan. It's very beautiful, very, very beautiful place, Vrindavan. And let's see the next one. So how should we as devotee see Vrindavan Dham? So Vrindavan is considered, if you read from the scripture, Vrindavan is very elaborately described, like a very beautiful place with flowers blooming, various kinds of birds chirping, cuckoos singing, different types of tunes. There's lakes, there's green grass. It's like paradise. Then, but when we go to Vrindavan, then we don't see that, right? We see sometimes we see pigs like that, or dirty stuff and like that. So how can we understand Krishna's about what type of vision, किस दृष्टि से हम लोगों को देखना है वृंदावन को? So externally, Vrindavan appears to be neglected, and it's nothing like a paradise description that I was presenting. So Srila Prabhupada said that because of impiety, Vrindavan was becoming like desert, and will become so in the future. तो भविष्य में भी जैसे लोग पाप भरेगा, तो ये ऐसे ही स्थान ऐसे बनेगा. तो इसीलिए हम लोग एक भक्त कैसे देखना चाहिए, प्रभुपाद जी समझाते हैं हम लोगों को. This is because our senses are impure. That's why we can't see this real Vrindavan. When your eyes are smeared with the salve of love, then you can see Vrindavan. तो हम लोग भगवान प्रेम का भक्ति में आगे बढ़ करके और उस दृष्टि को प्राप्त करना चाहिए, उस प्रेम दिव्य दृष्टि के द्वारा आप देखना चाहिए. So the ugliness that is covering Vrindavan, which is Prabhupada explaining, this ugliness is here because of Yog Maya, and Krishna is covering that in protecting Vrindavan from atheistic and impersonalist. So people who are atheistic and impersonalist, they don't really appreciate Vrindavan Dham. So how to see Vrindavan? Narottam Das Thakur explained that one can see Vrindavan when his mind is completely free from material desires and anxieties. जब हम लोग विषय से दूर हो जाएंगे, मन शुद्ध हो जाएंगे, फिर हम वृंदावन को देख पाएंगे अच्छी तरह उसी दृष्टि से. तो विषयाचर्या कबे शुद्ध हबे मन, कबे हम हरि बहो श्री वृंदावन. Vrindavan is actually experienced as it is by a person who have stopped trying to derive pleasure from material enjoyment. So we have to be qualified to stay in Vrindavan and to understand Vrindavan. We have to develop those qualifications. And as we advance in bhakti, जैसे जैसे भक्ति में आगे बढ़ेंगे, फिर हमारा असली वृंदावन हमारे सामने प्रकट होंगे. So कैसे करना है? We should to take shelter of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. And we have to pray to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which says हमारा इच्छाएं शुद्ध हो जाए, and so as we become cleansed from desires of eating, mating, sleeping, debating, and all these different things that we crave in. So Krishna and Vrindavan. Vrindavan sovan nahi, Nanda gaon so gaon, Bam Shivat sovat nahi, Shri Krishna naam so naam. So Vrindavan is non-different from Krishna, because the name, form, fame, and place where the Lord manifests his pastimes are identical with the Lord. And that is to be understood. क्योंकि भगवान एक उत्तम स्थिति पे है, तो कोई अंतर नहीं है भगवान और भगवान के नाम, भगवान की लीलाएं, भगवान के जो धाम है, उसमें अंतर नहीं होता. वो सब एक एब्सोल्यूट प्लेटफॉर्म है. तो Vrindavan is as worshipable as the Lord himself. So why we are so attracted to Vrindavan in some sense? Part of us is always in Vrindavan, because Vrindavan is our home. जिपे जीव आत्मा है, ये सब धाम से आए, हम लोग धाम से हैं. Vrindavan गोलोक spiritual world se hai. All the souls come from the spiritual world. So that's why we always hanker to go back home where we belong. So the reason why Vrindavan is so wonderful is because it is the abode of Krishna. It is Krishna that makes Vrindavan so wonderful. And without him, we would not be interested in Vrindavan at all. And that is thanks to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada brought Vrindavan to the whole world. And because of Srila Prabhupada preaching, because of the movement, so many thousands of devotees come to Vrindavan every year during Kartik time for Parikrama, to discover those different transcendental pastimes of the Lord. So Bhoma Vrindavan, the earthly Vrindavan in this world, is non-different from the spiritual world. However, it is covered with layer of Yogmaya, which makes it appear to be a temple village in North India. ये भौतिक दृष्टि से देखते हैं तो ऐसे दिखते हैं. However, the spiritual nature is shining like an effulgence through that covering, and although we cannot actually perceive the dham in its full transcendental glory as described in the scripture, but what happened? We can derive inspiration. We can still get inspiration by visiting the Dhamma. So the mood is, what's the mood? Is to look for Krishna. That is a mood. The devotee is always hankering for Krishna. Srila Prabhupada explained, it is not that the devotee meet Krishna face to face in the tract of the land, but a devotee is eagerly searching for Krishna is as good as seeing him personally. तो वो जो इच्छा होता है हमारे अंदर में कि हम भगवान को ढूंढना, कृष्ण से मिलना है. I remember the first time I say, oh, if I go to Vindavan, what about Krishna appears in front of you? In what form we can appear in front of you? It was very exciting for us to go to Vindavan and to discover that. How this is so cannot be explained, but it is factually realized by those who are pure devotees of the Lord. Because Krishna, his name, form, pastimes, remembrance are all on the absolute platform. To search for him at Vrindavan in pure God consciousness gives more pleasure to the devotees than seeing him face to face. So the devotee always try to hanker, like the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to look for Krishna. In that mood, we will try to do bhakti. So Brahma Samhita explains how we should see the eternal form of Shyam Sundar. Primanjana charita bhakti vilochena santa sadaiva hedayeshu vilokayanti yam shama sundaram achintya guna sarupam govindam adipurusham tam aham bhajami. So I worship Govinda, the Premovable Lord, who is Shyam Sundar, Krishna himself, with his inconceivable, innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotees see in the heart of hearts, the eye of devotion tinged with the sound of love. So we have to develop that prema bhakti, those eyes, the spiritual eyes, to be able to see Krishna. And this is how we should be able to look for Krishna in Vrindavan. Now, talking about Vrindavan Dham, in Vrindavan, the effulgent ground is fashioned with many very wonderful, colorful. This is the description given in Brahma Samhita कि जो भगवान का जो धाम है कैसे किस प्रकार से बने हुए हैं. चिंतामणि पकरसद्म शुकल्प वृक्ष लक्षाद विशेषु शुरभीर पिपालयन्तम लक्ष्मी सहस्त्र सहस्त्र संभ्रमा सेवमानम गोविंदम आदि पुरुषम तमहम भजामि. तो ये कैसा है, वहां पे क्या है? Krishna is tending to the cows. Krishna, this board is full of maniyon se bhare hue hain. It's filled with spiritual gems, right? And surrounded by millions of kalpa vriksha, desireful fig trees, and served with reverence and affectionately. The Lord is being served by thousands of Lakshmis and Gopis. And the trees and vines are full of blissful spiritual fruits, and flowers and birds make a great tumult by reciting hymns from the Sam Ved, and lakes and streams are filled with transcendental nectar. May my heart meditate on Vrindavan in this way. So it's really जो धाम है, जो वृंदावन धाम है, जो उसका दिव्य स्थिति, उसका वर्ण आ रहा है यहाँ पे. तो beautiful Vrindavan is rich with Chintamani gems, many jewel palaces and temples. Many regal swans play in the waters of Yamuna, and in those waters a splendid golden lotus flower grows. तो एक बार हम वृंदावन का परिक्रमा कर रहे थे, तो वहां पे केशी घाट पे वहां पे एक लीला हुई थी, जहां पे अकबर कोशिश कर रहे थे कि वहां पे कुछ सेवा करने के लिए. तो गोस्वामी से बात किया था कि यहाँ पे हम ऐसे स्थान बनाएंगे, राइट? उसका जो घाट है उसको सजाएंगे, right? So when by the mercy of the Goswami, he was able to see in a dream that the ghat is completely covered with jewels, many types of jewels, very precious stones covering those steps of the banks of the Keshi Ghat. And then he came and then realized, oh, I was thinking I had so many gems and everything, I could have decorated the ghat, but it's already like that. So by the mercy of the Goswami, he could see that. So in the same way, that is actually the real Vrindavan. It's filled with Chintamani gems and jewels, and the swans in the waters of Yamuna. In Vrindavan, the kadama trees offer obeisances, their flowering branches reverently touching the ground. Bumblebees enjoy pastimes in Vrindavan, which is filled with very sweet fragrance. Radha and Krishna stay in the place where they enjoy different pastimes. And how beautiful they are, these bodies decorated with jewel ornaments and wealthy and many gems beyond intelligence and wit. So this is, it's very poetic, really described in the scripture, so about Vrindavan. So basically coming to us now, practically, what does that mean, धाम? तो धाम का अलग अलग अर्थ होते हैं संस्कृत में. धाम मीन्स dwelling, जैसे घर हो, जहाँ एक जगह है जहाँ पे रहते हैं, right? Dwelling, घर. धाम मीन्स also a favorite thing, जो खास होता है, किसी चीज जो हमारे प्रिय होते हैं और हमको आनंद देते हैं, उसको अर्थ भी संस्कृत में धाम का ये भी अर्थ होता है, जो आनंद देते हैं. और धाम का अर्थ ये भी है कि स्वरूप देना, फॉर्म, अपीयरेंस. और चौथा, धाम का अर्थ ये भी है जो शक्ति देते हैं, बल देते हैं, बलवान है. ग्लोरी गुणगान करता है, यशवान होते हैं. ये भी धाम का अर्थ होता है. So धाम refers to a place where the supreme personality of Godhead resides. वहां पे eternally resides करते हैं. इसीलिए प्रभुपाद जी ने जहां जहां पे अपना मंदिर बनाया, इस्कॉन मंदिर है, स्थापित किया, तो जो वृंदावन, जैसे हमारे यहाँ पे वाशिंगटन डीसी में उसका नाम है हस्तिनापुर धाम, न्यू हस्तिनापुर धाम. अगर इंग्लैंड में जाएंगे, लंदन ईश्वरा वहाँ धाम होता है. न्यू मायापुर धाम होते हैं अमेरिका में, अलग अलग जगह पे, यूरोप में, फ्रांस में न्यू मायापुर धाम था. तो अलग अलग जगह पे प्रभुपाद जी ने धाम स्थापित किया. क्यों? क्योंकि भगवान विराजमान है वहां पे. इसलिए जहां श्री कृष्ण स्वयं विराजमान है, वहां पे वो जगह धाम बन जाते हैं. So any place where Supreme Personality of Godhead is present, His name, form, glory, immediately that place becomes Dhamma. And that's why we speak about Vrindavan Dham, because there Krishna eternally performs his pastimes with eternal associates. And that is in Vrindavan. So Vrindavan is Swayam Dham, and all the other dhams where we have the temples of Krishna, they are expansion of that dhamma. So we can see that if we are in a temple, if in our, अगर हमारे जो शहर में एक इस्कॉन टेम्पल है, राधा कृष्ण टेम्पल है, तो हम ऐसा कंसिडर कर सकते हैं कि ये एक वृंदावन धाम का एक expansion है. So because Vrindavan is Swayam Dham, and all the dham are its manifestations. So remember that. Careful. हमको ये ऐसे समझना चाहिए, किस भावना से समझना चाहिए कि वृंदावन is a transcendental place of Krishna and is a manifestation of his Swarupa Shakti, and Vrindavan is a part of Krishna himself. Vrindavan is Krishna himself. It's full, and Krishna is Sachitananda Rupam, Swarup Rupam, right? Sachitananda Rupam. So it's full of eternity, full of intelligence, and full of bliss. And we have to try to meditate on this aspect of Krishna. And Vrindavan is considered to a place to have so many sacred places as well. And in the scripture, it's mentioned that there are 60 billion sacred places that reside in Mathura and Vrindavan. So Vrindavan is not only that, but there's so many other sacred spiritual places residing together in that place. So we talk about the Sachidanand, don't forget, we talk about the Sachidanand Rupam form of the Lord, as well as Krishna, of the Dham. And we can't separate Krishna with the Dham. And we have to try to meditate on the this replica of the spiritual world on this planet, this abode, how it's being manifested, including Dwarka, Mathura, Vrindavan, and other dhams. So let's see. Van, yeah. So usually Van means forest, and Vrindavan. So Vrinda is actually Shrimati Vindadevi. And Vindadevi is one who awards residence in Vrindavan. So if we really have this desire to reside in Vrindavan one day, then we should pray to Tulsi Maharani also. And remember that Vrindavan, just like we do the Tulsi Aarti, हम लोग तुलसी आरती गाते हैं, कृपा कोरी कोरो तारे वृंदावन वासी नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्ण प्रेयासी namo namo. So we always pray to Vindadevi, please give me the residence, give me the mercy so as I can reside in Vrindavan. So, and actually, Tulsi Maharani, Vindadevi, actually, she performs great austerities there, penances for 60,000 years. When she was born as a daughter of an emperor whose name was Kedara, a very pious king that became a great devotee of Krishna. And his daughter Vindadevi performed so much penance in that area, and she also attained Goloka Dham. That's why from that time the forest became known as Vrindavan. So pleased by Vindadevi's austerities, Lord Vishnu granted a boon to the Vrindavan forest. And what is that boon? That boon is any penance performed will quickly fructify and bear excellent results. In that, that's why when we go to Vrindavan, if we perform some tapasya, ये भगवान श्री कृष्ण का वरदान दिए गए हुए हैं कि जहाँ पे तुलसी महाराज विंदा देवी ने तपस्या किया, अगर आप भी वहां जाकर के कोई तपस्या करेंगे, जप करेंगे, you will get multiple effect of that perfection of प्राप्त करेंगे आप. So any performance, any tapasya or penance performed will be quickly fructified and bear excellent results. तो ये वरदान जो कृष्ण भगवान ने दिया था वृंदा देवी की वजह से. तो हम आगे देखते हैं कि वृंदावन का ग्लोरीज. Uttering the name of Vrindavan once attains the merit of chanting Krishna's holy name. तो देखो ये कितना पावन है वृंदावन का नाम. स्वयं वृंदावन को नाम बोलने से, पुकारने से Vrindavan, it's like Vrindavan is like chanting Krishna's name. Hearing the name of Vrindavan, one acquires the merit of hearing Krishna's sila and pastimes. Touching Vrindavan, one obtains the merits of a saint association. If we go there, we carry the Braj soil, the Braj Bhumi. थोड़ा हम लोग जब जाते हैं थोड़ा ब्रज भूमि रखते हैं. Touching that soil also is smelling the fragrance of that soil of Vrindavan. One is blessed by the merit of smelling sweet fragrance of Tulsi. Wherever he may be, one must always think about the life in Vraj Dham and about following the footsteps of particular devotee in the service of the Lord. तो वो जहाँ पे हम लोग रह रहे हैं, चाहे आप किसी शहर में रह रहे हैं या इंडिया के बाहर रहे हैं, हमेशा हम लोगों को व्रज धाम के बारे में स्मरण करना चाहिए. Vrindavan, any person may go there, even if he is sinful, he will at once contact an atmosphere of spiritual life. चाहे वो कितना पापी क्यों ना हो, अगर वृंदावन जाएंगे, automatically उनको भगवान का, राधा कृष्ण का कृपा मिलेंगे. If someone somehow or other gets the opportunity to live in Vrindavan, and if one is not a pretender but simply lives in Vrindavan, one concentrates his mind upon Krishna, one is liberated from material bondage. इसलिए आप देखेंगे अंतिम समय में बहुत लोग संन्यास या सब कुछ त्याग करके वो वृंदावन धाम में पसंद करते रहने के लिए, क्योंकि अपना आखिरी समय वृंदावन में गुजरना चाहते हैं. और जो भी व्यक्ति अपना प्राण वृंदावन ब्रज भूमि में छोड़ते हैं, उसको गोलोक धाम का वास मिलता है. So that's a blessing of Krishna. Whoever departs or leaves the body in Vrindavan will attain the spiritual world. In Brahmanda Puran, it is said that all the results of traveling on a pilgrimage in the free worlds can be achieved simply by touching the holy land of Mathura. This is from Nectar of Devotion, chapter 12. And another glory is if we live in Vrindavan, we are living with Krishna, because Vrindavan is not different from Krishna. This is from Vrindavan Days, page 51. and how wonderful it is that simply residing in Mathura, even for one day, one can achieve a transcendental loving attitude towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the whole idea of our life is to develop love for Krishna. And by residing in a place like Mathura, we can, even for one day, we can develop that love once we go there. And we stay there in Vrindavan. We will feel that separation and that devotion to Krishna. It will rise in our heart. So to conclude, Vrindavan Maha Amritame. Anyone who smells a flower from Vrindavan, remember, if you have a flower from Vrindavan, or feels a breeze from Vrindavan, sees a person from Vrindavan, or somehow or other bows down in the direction of Vrindavan, or once utters the auspicious name of Vrindavan, even if he dies in some place far from Vrindavan, will at once attain the transcendental abode. Such a powerful statement. And this is from the Vindavan Mahametta. So that's why we should always bring something from Vrindavan and keep with us for blessings. And the last thing that we're going to read here, any volunteer who wants to read this Mahamrita? Any volunteer? Hare Krishna.
I can do it.
Okay.
If
Param.
one lives in the earthly land of Vrindavan, touches it, sees it, travels to it, meditates upon it, bows down to offer respects to it, sings or hears about its glorious qualities, carries its dust on its head, or has any relationship with it, then this purifying earthly Vrindavan will carry him to the spiritual world.
Yeah. So just on a side note, Param, do you remember when you were in Vrindavan? When you were, how old you were?
Yeah.
How old you were when you visited
I think
Vrindavan?
I was like maybe 13 or 12.
Okay. What's a special thing that you remember about Vrindavan?
I just remember going to this one restaurant and like for like 2 consecutive years going to India and
Oh,
like
wow. And the food was so nice.
yeah.
So we have a very special sweets in Vrindavan that we get, that Mathura ka pera. You had that pera? A sweet? I don't know.
Like the most significant thing about that one restaurant was the lassi. Like usually
Oh.
I don't like it like curd or anything like that, but this was like good. So yeah.
Yeah, that's special. Yeah, even in front of the temple in Vrindavan, in our temple also they have nice lassis also, but more inside, when you go in the main market in Vrindavan, you will see there are so many people selling different types of lassis. They're really, really special. The Bake Bihari temple, if you go in the alley, they have like sweets, people selling some sweets. And in front of that Bake Bihari temple, there's a very nice place where they sell this nice lassi. It's a very, very, very memorable thing. So if one lives in earthly Vrindavan, touches it, sees it, travels to it, meditates upon it, bows down to offer respects to it, sings or hears about its glorious qualities, carries its dust in the head, or has any relation with it, then this purifying earthly Vrindavan will carry him to the spiritual world. Wow. So you can see that please develop an attachment to Vrindavan, and gradually our path to bhakti and to go back to the spiritual world by the help of this Vardhan, this mercy Krishna gave, these blessings, we'll be able to make it back home to Godhead, to Krishna. Okay. So that was it today, and thank you for listening. And I'll take any questions you guys can have. You can ask me in the chat, or you can unmute and ask me any question. I didn't have any activity for today, so it's almost 1 hour, not yet. So we will just take one or two questions, and anybody who wants to share their experience in Vrindavan, they're most welcome. Haribol. So Janavi, you want to go to Vrindavan and visit Vrindavan now?
Yeah, I asked a question in the chat.
Oh, you asked a question. 1 second, let me see what question you asked. If you are in a situation where we are unable to travel to Vrindavan, what should we do? Oh, that's the next question. So there is a saying which says, अगर मन में कृष्ण है, अगर मन में कृष्ण नहीं है तो वृंदावन सो वन, अगर मन में कृष्ण है तो Vrindavan is everywhere. So what happens is, the more important thing is to carry Krishna in our heart and mind. And in that way, we can always see Vrindavan, Krishna's abode everywhere, wherever we are. So, but Srila Prabhupada really advised us that we should go at least once in our lifetime. We should really go to Vrindavan and see the pastimes of the Lord. So we should always hanker for that and look for the opportunity to go actually and take part in the Vindavan Parikrama. And this, and if you take the part in the Vindavan Parikrama, then we get a chance to see the different places where Krishna performed his pastimes. So keep hankering, keep desiring, and Krishna will fulfill your desire to visit Vrindavan one day. Okay.
I have another question also. Is it recommended to go with like other people?
Yeah, so it's recommended to go among the devotees. So usually that's why all throughout the different places in the world, just like in Russia, people book a whole flight, the chartered flight with hundreds of devotees. They just go to the parikrama. So it's always best to be in the association of devotees, so as we can really understand the glories of Vrindavan and the different pastimes of Vrindavan. So usually we have Maharajas, sannyasis, they go and they accompany the devotees where the parikrama is taking place, and they tell the different pastimes of Radha Krishna, different places. So that's very interesting to go with the devotees, so you can learn about the different pastimes, where it happened actually. Okay. Hare Krishna. Any other question? No question. Any person want to share their any story, realization about Vrindavan? Samira, you want to share a little bit? I know you've been going to Vrindavan.
Yes, Prabhuji. I went to Vrindavan last month only.
Last month only?
Yes.
Oh my God. So you're like a regular visitor of Vrindavan.
Sorry, Prabhuji, what did you say?
It means you go to Vrindavan regularly. Did you ever
No.
participate in the parikrama?
Yes,
Vrindavan?
Prabhuji, I've done Parikrama many a times.
Which
Vrindavan
which parikrama? Oh, Vrindavan Parikrama. What about
Yes,
Braj Mandal? Braj Mandal? No.
No.
Oh,
You
not
mean
yet.
the Golden Parikrama?
Oh, you did only the Vrindavan Parikrama and maybe the Govardhan Parikrama?
Yes, Prabhuji, Govardhan Parikrama.
Oh, okay. So what do you expect? Like, would you like mind sharing one realization since you did the parikrama? Is it hard? Do you do it
I did it. It was
barefooted?
really hard that every time I was thinking that when it will get over, when we
Oh.
will reach that spot. But later on, it was like good. It felt nice chanting all through doing the parikrama, and even your speed build-ups, and like for the first time it took me like 2.5 hours to complete, but then on I completed in only 1 hour,
Oh,
so
that's nice.
it's very good.
Yes. And what about the kund? Which one is the favorite kund? Favorite pond?
Radha Kund.
Radha
It's
Kund. And is there any
peaceful.
particular reason why?
It's very peaceful there when you sit and just look at the Radha Kund. It feels as if Radha Rani and all the gopis are just there inside the Kund.
Thank you for sharing that. And what's your favorite food when you go there? What's your favorite food you eat?
Favorite food, it's kind of a street food we get near Bhanke Bihari. Uh, it's um, it's a it's a chila. It's really very yummy, and of course
Oh,
that lemonade that they make in Lowy Bazaar.
oh wow. So that's a so yeah, let everybody know about that. We should find a picture of that and share. Anyone else who wants to share an experience in Vrindavan? Ria, you been to Vrindavan? Ria? Let's see, Ria. Somewhere. And then who else is there?
Prabhuji, I can share one thing which I learned.
Okay.
So first time when we went to Vrindavan, I think 13 years or probably 11 years back, we did not know much about Bhakt and to go in association of devotees and all. So we went on our own, and we end up in so much of struggle. We could not take darshan of Bhakya Bihari, and for us Vrindavan looked very ordinary. It looked like, oh, is this really a Vrindavan? Because after reading the books, and there we were seeing different picture. But eventually when we went with devotees, then only we realized the importance of Vrindavan. And there is a saying that you should see Vrindavan through your ears,
Oh,
not
good.
through
Very
your
good.
eyes.
Very good.
So I understood that when I went along with devotees, because each spot you listen to the story, and that's when you really see Vrindavan through your ears.
Yeah, that's very nice. Thank you, Mataji, for telling this realization. And that's why we should all chant Hare Krishna nicely. And as we develop our chanting, then we'll be able to more to hear and about the pastimes of the Lord in Vrindavan as well. So as we go and we can see those when we visit Vrindavan Dham. Okay, so we'll end. Ratnavati Mataji, you want to share something? Up again, Vrindavan.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
आप थोड़ा शेयर कर सकते हैं वृंदावन के बारे में?
जी प्रभु जी, वृंदावन के बारे में अगर मैं कहना चाहूँ तो थोड़े से शब्दों में कहना बहुत ही मुश्किल होगा, क्योंकि वृंदावन जब हम जाते हैं ना, तो हम कुछ सोचते नहीं, हम सिर्फ महसूस करते हैं। सिर्फ हम महसूस करते हैं जो वहां पे हमारे भाव होते हैं, और जो मतलब हर एक चीज अलग सी दुनिया लगती है। ऐसे लगता है कि हम ऐसे ना कोई सपनों की दुनिया में आ गए हैं। और वहां पे जो समय है वो ऐसे मतलब इतनी जल्दी जल्दी पास हो जाता है, तो ऐसा लगता है कि नहीं नहीं हमें रुकना है यहाँ पर। लेकिन कुछ मतलब मैं कुछ कह नहीं पाती हूँ। जब हम वहां जाते हैं बहुत अच्छा लगता है, इतना अच्छा लगता है कि ऐसा लगता है हम अपने घर में आ गए, और वहां से जाने का मन नहीं करता। लेकिन हम अपने इस मोह माया जाल में इतना फंसे हुए हैं कि हम, और इस साल आपको पता है कोरोना के कारण हमारी इतनी इच्छा थी जाने की, इतनी प्रबल इच्छा थी, फिर भी हम जा नहीं पाए। लेकिन मैं बस ये कहूंगी कि हमें अपने जीवन में, जैसे आपने बताया कि एक बार वृंदावन जरूर जाना चाहिए, ताकि आपको उसका ना जैसे खाने का एक स्वाद होता है ना, हम बोलते हैं कि ये हमारा प्रिय भोजन है, हमारा प्रिय खाना है। तो उसी तरह जब हम एक बार वृंदावन चले आते हैं ना, तो हमारे मन में यही भाव आता है कि यही वो जगह है जहाँ हमें आना था, आना है, और हम यहीं आएंगे। तो मतलब इसके बारे में मतलब उसके अलावा हम कहीं जाना भी पसंद नहीं करते। तो वहां पे आप किसी भी कोने में चले जाओ वृंदावन के, छोटे से छोटा मंदिर, बड़े से बड़ा मंदिर, आपके अंदर अलग अलग भाव आते जाएंगे। और ऐसे भाव आएंगे ना प्रभु जी, जैसे ऐसा लगता है कि हमारे साथ कोई चल रहा है, कोई ऐसी शक्ति जो जिसे हम बोलते हैं ना, हमें जाप करते हैं हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। तो ऐसा लगता है ये जो मंत्र है जो हम बोलते रहते हैं, चैंटिंग वहां पे करते रहते हैं, और उसका जो इफेक्ट है, उसका जो प्रभाव है, वो हमें वहां नजर आता है। वो कितनी प्रबल शक्ति हो जाती है उसकी कि हमें लगता है कि राधा रानी हमारे अंग संग हमारे साथ साथ हमें बताती जा रही है कि हमें कहाँ जाना है, किससे मिलना है, किस भाव में जाना है। तो हम वहां पे भाव में बह जाते हैं।
ये हमारा घर है, वृंदावन हमारा घर जैसा
हमारा घर है।
वास्तविक घर है।
जी जी,
बहुत
हरे
धन्यवाद, आप सब लोगों ने अच्छी तरह से अपना भावना को प्रस्तुत किए, और हम लोग आशा करें, प्रार्थना करते हैं एक दिन के हम लोग जरूर धाम पे पहुंच पाएंगे। और सब भक्तजनों जो ये कार्यक्रम सुन रहे हैं, उन लोगों को प्रार्थना करते हैं कि एक दिन भगवान का धाम जरूर जाने का। तो थैंक यू रत्नावती माता जी,
हरे
रत्ना माता
कृष्णा
जी,
प्रभु जी, राधे राधे।
राधे राधे सब लोगों को। So we'll see you next week for another program on our folk platform. Hare Krishna, Radhe
हरे
Radhe सब।
कृष्णा, राधे राधे।
हरे राम।
कृष्ण प्रभुदेव।
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी।
राधे राधे।